Let's talk about modifying the Dave Elman Induction for Skype sessions. Hey, it's Jason Linett here, and in this video, we're going to work from the assumption that you already know the Dave Elman Induction. You know the various steps to run through it. Though, briefly, of course, we begin with that small muscle catalepsy, relax the eyes so they just won't work, test them and satisfy yourself. You can make them just not work. Then from there, we do a brief deepening process. Take that relaxation, send it all the way down across your body in a nice wave of relaxation. Then from there, the next phase is, of course, the fractionation. In a moment, we'll have you let the eyes open and close, and when they close, go this many times deeper. Classically, we do that 3 times. Then from there, we then launch into large muscle catalepsy, which classically is the floppy arm drop. As I pick up that arm, just let that thing dangle there as it falls. Just let it plop back into your lap. Let that take you much deeper. And now we're into the moment of truth, where we do the classic amnesia by suggestion, which is classically the losing the numbers. You'll count backwards from 100 out loud, let the numbers go when they're gone. Notice how good you feel. And then from there, deepening throughout. Full credit, of course, to Dave Elman for the Dave Elman Induction. Hey, Dave, there's a technique out there with your name all over it. You should look into this. So let's chat about modifying this strategy if you're working in a remote format. So here I am sitting in my office right now, and I work with clients, of course, over there in the big comfy chair. I work with clients in a group format out in my classroom, though, of course, I also see clients remotely by way of staring down this little green dot on my MacBook Pro and broadcasting through my Blue Yeti microphone. So let's chat about how do you modify this technique. There's a couple of nuances to begin to address. First of all, let's hedge off a couple of issues. What are the elements that we have to change? What are the elements of this technique that have to be slightly different? Well, let's work through it piece by piece. The small muscle catalepsy, phase 1, that really doesn't have to be any different. Relax the eyelids so they just won't work. Test them, satisfy yourself. You can do that. I will note that when I'm working with a group, I tend to layer in a few more metaphors into the description just because I'm hedging my bet to become even more effective. So that even if you try to open them, it's as if they're shut down like a computer, powered off like a TV, and full credit to James Hazelrig for this beautiful phrase, as if you're checking a door that's locked to make sure it's still locked. So basically, I'm applying a few more hypnotic suggestions. They're going to give me that guarantee that I'm absolutely going to have that moment where they're checking out the eyes and it's working. Awesome. The next phase from here, the brief deepening. Well, the brief deepening is pretty much the same. Quit testing, take that relaxation, send that all the way down across your body. Let that take you much deeper relaxed. As simple as that. Now, the next phase is one that maybe needs a little bit of attention. The fractionation. It's the rising and falling of energy. Now, there's a couple of nuances, first of all, as to why the fractionation actually works. Couple of them. First of all, it's just that natural mechanism that as the eyes open and they close, it's put it in the category of either a reinduction, put it in the category of what we call pyramiding. Pyramiding is the terminology when we layer multiple inductions on top of each other without emerging. Basically, the Dave Elman Induction is a process of pyramiding various hypnotic deepening strategies in a strategic order, and that's what makes the technique work. So inside of the fractionation, you could simply do let the eyes open, let the eyes close. Though classically, if we're working with a client one-on-one, we may have the hand in front of the eyes. The reason being that as the eyes open, now I'm getting all this conscious distraction. I can see my phone off to the side of the desk. I can see my iPad over here. I can see this little remote that I use here in my office for some remote-controlled items. Just check this out. Oh yeah, now it's dark in here. And now, oh yeah, it's bright. Studio lighting, $10 on Amazon. So little elements such as that. So the eyes open and close, the reason that classically we would have the hand about this distance away from the eyes would simply be that it's blocking that conscious distraction. Now, granted, that is a weird gesture. We don't put our hands in front of people's eyes pretty frequently, which is why, to rewind the process back, when I'm working with a client one-to-one, I'll begin with this little moment of take a look at my hand. And as you take a nice deep breath in, let your eyes follow my hand on up and hold that breath. And as you exhale, just let those eyelids close on down. Let that take you much deeper. And we just begin the process. So I'm beginning with a familiar gesture, so that way you fast forward a couple of moments and I'm now into the fractionation, and my hand in front of your eyes isn't weird because I've already done it. Also, if you've ever heard me talk about compliance precedes suggestibility, I have 6 verifiable points of compliance when I run that sequence. Take a look at my hand, take a nice deep breath in as you follow my hand up with your eyes and hold that breath. And as you exhale now, let those eyelids close on down. And the benefit there is I have 6 verifiable points of compliance because the Dave Elman induction is a technique of basically giving instructions. And because you follow the instructions, you're going to go into hypnosis. Now, I can't necessarily do that with my hand in front of the face in the Skype session, but I can follow a similar mechanism. What I suggest to you is this, though, because the issue, as it often arises, is where do I tell them to look with their eyes? Because when the eyes open, part of the psychological principle of fractionation, at least from my perspective, is from the client side of things, my eyes are open now. What does that mean? I'm no longer hypnotized. Now, that's the client's perspective. We as the practitioner know that we're simply giving a piece of instruction which is helping to compound the hypnotic state. So we know it's this, they believe it's that, but as soon as the eyes are closing back down, back into the experience. So if the reason behind the hand blocking the eyes is about blocking that conscious distraction, that conscious, error of something being suddenly looking over there, that I'm looking here at this little green light, which is my camera lens, yet I'm seeing whatever ridiculous thing someone just posted on Facebook on my desktop here. Way too many computer screens in front of me. So here's the little adjustment that you can make. In the beginning of your Dave Elman process, when working at a Skype session, or this also applies when working with a group session, the mechanism, one of which I'll give you 2 here, the one that I would recommend is begin your session with a bit of an eye fixation. Pick a spot on the wall. Or even as you're there in the space, pick a spot on the floor. If you want to bring it to the level of fascination, which is where the head is facing forward and the eyes are up, keep your head comfortably floating on a level plane and just allow your eyeballs to roll up and look at a spot above your field of vision. And as you look at that spot now, take a deep breath in and hold it. And as you exhale now, the eyes are already becoming fatigued and they're wanting to close. And as soon as you invite the eye closure, they're going to feel that comfort. That's going to serve as a little bit of a foot in the door towards the process. So if you've done that at the beginning of your Dave Elman induction, you now can repeat that inside of the fractionation, which now the benefit becomes, in a moment, we'll have you let your eyes open and close. When they open, allow your eyes to focus on that spot on the ceiling as you did before. And then I'll ask you to close those eyes. When you do that, notice it just helps you to relax, perhaps as much as 10 times deeper. Let the eyes open. Let your eyes connect with that spot on the ceiling. And just let them close down now. And as they close, notice that helps you to relax, perhaps as much as 10 times deeper. We do the fractionation classically 3 times, rinse and repeat, again directing the focal point to that point on the ceiling or point on the floor. And there's a simple strategy that you get the benefit of eliminating that conscious distraction while also throwing in the side benefit of the little nuggets we get from doing an eye fixation induction. So then from there, of course, now, oh, by the way, I mentioned I'll give you 2 strategies there. The second one is, you could do this in a Skype session. I do this in a group session. I like the focal point in a remote distance thing. In a group session, instead, I'll say, let your eyes open, and you'll look at the palm of my hand. I'll be standing with my hand out in front of me, which the benefit is take note of where my hand is. I can still see your eyes. And assuming I'm in my classroom, I'm working a group of about maybe 12, 15 people, even in my peripheral vision, I can still pick up everybody, and I am now the focal point. So there's another mechanism of doing it. You could do that by way of a Skype session. I like the focal point. Use them both. They both work. Let's roll on inside of the induction because the next phase is large muscle catalepsy. So to rewind back, relax the eyelids, test them, they won't work. Small muscle catalepsy, brief deepening, fractionation, rinse and repeat 3 times. Now we're into phase 4 of the Dave Elman induction, which is the large muscle catalepsy, which classically, again, is the floppy arm drop. And if I'm working a group of about 12 people in my classroom, provided that they're not hugged up against the tables, I could technically walk around and do the floppy arm drop with all 12 people. I could, but I don't have to. And I don't yet have the technology to reach through the camera lens and grab your arm because that would be creepy. Instead, what I'm going to do here is remember that phase 4 is large muscle catalepsy. It's not the floppy arm check. Catalepsy can be defined by the 2 ends of the spectrum of a group of muscles. There can be complete and total relaxation or the complete locking and complete rigidity of the group of muscles. So if I can't do nya, instead I can do huzzah, which is the moment of instead going for an arm lock testing convincer, which I'll give you some nuances here briefly on this, though hypnotic conviction is its own separate category. Compliance precedes suggestibility. Here's the language you can use to get an individual person across the screen or a group of people all in the same format. Take your right hand, squeeze your right hand into a fist. Good. Now pick up that right arm, keep the hand squeezing into a fist, extend that arm straight out in front of you so that it's parallel, so that it's level with the floor, keeping that fist squeezing into that, keeping that hand squeezing into that fist. With that language now, what did I basically do? It's just basically Simon Says, compliance precedes suggestibility. In that experience, what am I doing? Keep the hand squeezing into a fist, extend it out in front of you so the arm is level, so it's parallel with the floor. I'm saying the same thing twice, but that way you're getting the point. Keeping that hand squeezing into a fist. By the way, make sure you don't say the hand squeezing down into a fist, because otherwise the hand could then lower down. I only figured that out like 2 months ago. How many times have I done this? So keep that hand squeezing into a fist, which the extra tension from the hand squeezing into that fist helps to send that tension all the way up the arm. In my format, you count forwards. The arm is so strong. Try to bend it. It gets stronger. Quit testing. Let it relax back into your lap. So again, there's the modification for doing it. Group session, Skype session, what have you. Then from there, we're into the moment of truth, amnesia by suggestion, the losing the numbers, which in a 1-to-1 as our technique, as our format of what we're talking about here is remote hypnosis, Skypnosis. In that format, again, it's going to be basically the same as a 1-to-1. Though similar to the eye catalepsy moment at the beginning, I'm going to apply just a little bit more exposition because I'm not in the space with you and I don't want to troubleshoot. So begin counting backwards from 100 out loud. And when you do that, let the numbers fade and fall away. So by the time you reach 98 or even sooner, you can just relax the rest of them away as if there's just nothing left to count. Want that to happen, expect that to happen, and you can make that happen. As if the first number you count is like that single stone going into a body of water. The water ripples and then soon returns to calm as if nothing was there in the first place. Because when those numbers are gone, you'll just find you relax much more deeply. Let them fade and fall away. Begin counting backwards from 100 out loud now. So it's a little bit more language. It's a little bit more exposition, a few extra metaphors. But again, from my perspective, I don't want to troubleshoot. I can still troubleshoot the Dave Elman induction in a Skype session, but basically I'd prefer not to. So when all else fails, apply hypnotic suggestion. And as it classically is, you continue to deepen throughout the process. You do outstanding change work. You help the client create their change. The question we answered here is, how do you modify the Dave Elman induction for Skype sessions? This has been Jason Linett. For more information like this, head over to hypnoticworkers.com. It's the entire digital access to my hypnosis training library, hypnoticworkers.com. See you on the inside.